It's Friday, June 9th. I'm at the West End Gun Club. I came out here for a quick range session. This range vlog isn't really going to have much content short of a focused gear review to test out a new tripod ball head that I got. So just going to set up a target really quick, and then we're going to get some rounds down range. I didn't bring much ammo because I don't have much ammo for my 308. Just threw all the necessary equipment I needed, just rifle ammo, the camera gear, and then some range maintenance equipment. This is my range bag that I use for like targetry and whatnot, because I paint. I usually have my spray paint, target pasters, range flags, various other things that I use for targetry. So that's all I brought today. So obviously the gun we're shooting today is the Remington 700 and the ATAICS. Because I have the Really Right Stuff adapter plate here on this chassis, which I'm going to test with this new tripod system. Only brought about 25, no, I brought enough ammo, I guess. But I'm gonna waste up some of these test loads that I made up, I figure, and some of this factory IMI that I have left over. And we'll see how that goes. Gonna be using Magpul mags. As dumb as it sounds, I'm liking the Magpul mags more than the actual AI mags, because the polymer Magpul mags don't scratch up your brass like the metal mags do. Stupid reason to like these Magpul mags more, but if you want brass that looks good and stays looking clean, I think that's your main option. So my standard tripod setup that I've been using for photography the past, I would say, 10 or so years is this Manfrotto 488 RC2 ball head on top of these 055 X Pro B legs. They're fine for basic photography use, just for general DSLR and whatnot. It is rated to hold about 17 pounds, but the thing is, it's not very good if you're going to put extra weight on there, even though the rifle is about under 17 pounds, because those ratings are pretty, I would say they're conservative, not to mention the fact that they don't take into account load that's off axis. So if you have load that's not over the direct center of gravity here of this tripod column, that will affect your ratings because of the torque. So anyway, this has been my go-to tripod for a long time. I mean, it does what it needs to do as far as photography is concerned, and I never got into any kind of rifle shooting with a tripod. So that being said, I did try it with this. When Really Right Stuff came out with their adapter for the ATAICS, I went ahead and bought it, and it does. I mean, you probably saw a range vlog in the past where I actually shot off of this, and for the most part, it was pretty wobbly in terms of even if you lock everything down, there's some wobble there because the ball head is just not sturdy enough for this kind of weight and imbalanced weight over this platform, especially with the torque that you're exerting on this whole setup. It's hard to hold groups. I mean, I've tried to shoot groups with this, and it's not exactly easy. It's almost like you're just kind of barely better than the sitting position, supported with a sling. So this is kind of where it stands. And then I tried to, just try this out. And while it's interesting tripod shooting, because I've never done tripod rifle shooting before, it was an interesting, interesting concept. But this whole setup is not ideal for this whole scenario. which is what I've been wanting to get a Really Right Stuff BH55 ball head for a long time. It's basically a much better built ball head than this Manfrotto RC2, and it's already designed from the ground up to be Arca Swiss compatible, or Arca Swiss style compatible, which I did convert my Manfrotto to, which is why it works with this Really Right Stuff adapter. But the BH55 is roughly 450 give or take, depending on which clamp option you want. And so I held off for a long time. I wanted that for photography because I liked Really Right Stuff's products, but I never bought it. A couple months ago, maybe just over a month ago, the Adorama, which is a online vendor for camera products and photography products, had some legs that were on sale. They were the Induro carbon fiber legs. So I went ahead and bought them. They were 65% off roughly. So it was carbon fiber legs that can hold 44 pounds, 41 to 44 pounds, I think. And I can't remember what the weight of the actual legs were, but I went ahead and bought them because it was a good deal out there for a good set of tripod legs that can hold a lot of weight. And then after I got those, I decided, hey, next month I'll go ahead and get the Really Right Stuff BH55, and so I ordered that. So I ended up putting this together last night. This is my Induro Stealth GIT 204. Honestly, don't know what it stands for. I don't really know too much about Induro tripods, like their line of products, but I know that they're actually pretty decent for the price. I was looking at the Faisal carbon fiber tripods, which are about $500 for the one I wanted, the weight, the rating that I needed as far as weight capacity or load capacity. But I went ahead and, got the Induro simply because the price was good with the Adorama clearance. Basically, it has twist locking legs, and then with no center column, and then I topped it off with this Really Right Stuff BH55 ball head. So if we're gonna go ahead and put the rifle on it, you'll see that it is quite sturdy. Note that I have a clamp ball head, a twist knob ball clamp, not a quick release, simply because dovetails for Arca Swiss style plates are not all the same. While Arca Swiss is an accepted dovetail angle, some people have taken liberties and adjust their angle by a degree or some width. So there is variances between Arca Swiss style dovetails. So sometimes some quick release plates won't work with some Arca Swiss compatible plates. And that's because those plates weren't machined, or either the clamp wasn't machined to out of their own tolerances. Each manufacturer has their own range or tolerances on their dovetails. So a quick release lever, assuming it can be adjusted, will be fine, but some, like the Really Right Stuff quick release levers, are not adjustable. So they're just designed to work with a given range of Arca Swiss dovetail widths and angles. That being said, I went ahead and got the knob clamp so that you can just automatically just tighten it down as narrow as you need to go in order for that clamp to fit. Anyway, this is the new setup right now. I have not really used this at all. You got a nice beefy knob here to shoot off of, and it is, once you lock everything down, the amount of wobble is a little bit, there's still wobble there if you want to go ahead and kind of rattle around, but the sway is significantly less, and you can tell that the ball head itself, especially the stem, is beefier. So we'll see how this goes as far as the setup is concerned. So to give you a close-up of the BH55 ball head, we have this fairly beefy ball head knob to loosen and lock down the ball head. You've got the drag set knob here, which I'm not really going to use. And then I have the other knob. This is for the, so you can pan the base if you need to. If you already locked down the ball head and you just want to pan horizontally without moving the ball head itself, or the item that you have on a ball head itself, then you can just pan it by unlocking this and moving it across that axis 360 degrees. The clamp itself has a level on the top that you can combine with the level that you may have on your base, as this Induro Stealth GIT 204 does have. It has a level there. And then as you can see here, I have this screw knob clamp, not a quick release lever, so I can just kind of tighten that down hand tight, and that should be good enough if you've got at least strong enough hands to just lock this down onto the Arca Swiss plate that you have. So that's pretty much the setup right there, and we're gonna do some test firing to see how this goes. We're gonna go ahead and fire 5 rounds. I think this is my AR comp load, which is accurate enough. I don't think it's as good as the Varget one, but it's actually pretty good. I think it's about the same, just slightly lower velocity. Definitely more wobble than I hoped. It's definitely still there. So this is not the magic bullet getting a BH-55 ball head. It's definitely still wobbly if once you get on target. I mean, the reticle itself bounces around. Still, if you're trying to lock in, still a lot of bounce. So I guess tripod shooting isn't as easy as people claim it is. Once you actually get behind the gun and start trying to aim on the target, there's a lot of, the wobble's still there. So I'm not sure if I'm just not, maybe my legs aren't, good enough for this. I don't know. But it's definitely got some wobble there. The torque appears to be, could be happening in the legs here. Although, yeah, there is some lateral torque here on the legs, I think. So this does come into play. I'm not sure if another set of tripod legs will be better than this. Maybe I'll have to try some. But this has definitely got some side-to-side wobble here, or some lateral wobble at the legs. Here's a quick view of the targets here. Obviously the groups are not really groups per se. If you notice, a lot of these are very side to side, which is indicative of the play in the legs, the twisting action on the legs. So the vertical is good, which explains, or which is indicative of the fact that the ball head itself is doing its job as far as support. It's just the legs are allowing this camming to happen, and thus resulting in this side to side horizontal variance. So fired 25 rounds through the rifle over the BH-55 ball head with the Induro legs, and I will say I'm a little bit disappointed in the setup, simply because I still have the wobble factor there. The thing is, it's definitely not a vertical wobble, so there isn't really much play with the ball head itself. It's all in the legs. You're gonna see if I do some left to right torque here, you're gonna see on the second camera here, the legs are kind of binding one way or the other. If they're fixed down on the ground, you can see that as that wobble there on the legs. So there's definitely some flex there. So even if these legs are rated for 44 pounds or 40 pounds or whatnot, there is that play there. So this whole setup is kind of for naught at this point. Granted, I still want to keep the ball head because I've been wanting the BH-55 for a long time, and it's a good ball head for photography. But this leg setup is definitely not ideal for this whole scenario. So I may have to try some really right stuff legs. I don't want to risk $1,000 though at this point. So if anyone out there has some really right stuff tripod legs that I can try out, that'd be kind of cool. Especially if you're local, I definitely want to. I'll invite you out to the range so you can come out and shoot while I test out your tripod legs with my ball head. Anyway, that's it pretty much for this range vlog. Today is Friday, June 9th. I'm gonna pack up the rest of my gear and get out of here. Thanks for watching.